Right, well, after a couple of requests to watch this title, Martin Scorsese's 1985 film, After Hours, we sat down and watched it. Let's take a look at it, shall we?
Right, well, thanks for that, Trev. That wasn't quite right, but what we really wanted to say was this is Martin Scorsese's After Hours from 1985. Neither of us had actually seen this before. I'd never even heard about it. So I must thank Sean, who was hassling me to take a look at this one. Sent me a reminder just after I bought it, so well done, Sean. But anyway, we watched this last night. It's an offbeat comedy. It was Martin Scorsese's recovery period after a couple of problems in getting films made and having one that flopped, and we had one hell of a laugh looking at it. So let's take a look back at 1985's After Hours. Right, so as you've seen, Trevor from Double Bill Movies is here, and he's going to do a review of After Hours, but I thought I'd talk about this a bit because I hadn't seen it before, as I said, and I was really impressed with it. There's a very fine grain structure on it for most of it, considering most of it was shot at night, but a couple of times you'll see some rather coarse grain, and generally that's because an optical effect is about to come in, and by that I think I mean titles. So that's the only thing to beware of on this, and if you think, oh, this is too grainy, that's what it's going to be. The aspect ratio is 1:8:1, looks very nice, very natural colours, great density, overall just looks great, nothing to be concerned about there, and the sound, bit of a surprise really, but I knew nothing about this film at all, so 1985, mono sound, and it didn't seem to matter a damn. We started watching it and very soon forgot that it was mono sound. It just seemed to fill the room and that was good enough. But Trevor's still here, so Trevor, have a seat. What was your opinion of
Hello.
After Hours?
Very quirky film, but very funny, and very enjoyable to watch. Nicely put together. Yes, great 4K that is.
And neither of us can remember his name, but he was the poor devil in American Werewolf in London that got to rip to pieces and then started to decompose through the film. So very funny actor. And Rosanna Arquette is the number 2 actress, well, number 2 actor, I suppose, in this. Yeah. And she's good fun all the time anyway. Quite a tragic part in this, but a very funny part. I think that sums up everything about this. It's $29.99 over here in the UK. It seems to have taken a while to come out. I think it came out a couple of months ago in America. But I'm very pleased to have it. Trevor doesn't find that it's repeatable, whereas I think this one is going to be very repeatable for me, but then I've got a slightly dry sense of humour, to say the least. And I was laughing my head off throughout this, maybe at some points when I shouldn't have been laughing my head off, but I just found the whole thing great fun.
No, I think ordinarily films like this usually wind me up, but actually I really enjoyed it last night. There's quite an all-star cast in there. Maybe not back in the day, a lot of them were quite unknown. But if you watch it now and you think, hang on, I recognise that person, I recognise that person, oh wow, and that's that person.
And we all recognise some bloke up in a balcony with a spotlight. It's Martin Scorsese, who of course directed the film.
Doing his own Hitchcock impression.
But before we watched this, we had a bit of a demonstration, I suppose, in here, because no one's really been over to see the home cinema since it was completed, apart from a good mate of mine and his wife I used to work with, Robert and Debbie. And frightened Debbie out of here actually with the bass response, but so we had a bit of a demonstration, and of course the best 4K disc, as we all know, is TENET, and we all know the reason for that now, because it's a genuine IMAX film and it shrinks down so successfully onto home video. So whether it's DVD, Blu-ray or 4K, VHS, Laserdisc, whatever it's appeared on, I would imagine this is, well, among the best of anything on any format. So we had a look at this, and you've never seen it, Trev, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Unbelievable.
To be honest, I'm not likely to watch it, but the demonstration was brilliant. Yes, hats off to Christopher Nolan for coming up with such a concept for a film. The picture did look absolutely stunning. The sound effects, brilliant. I did find the music a little intrusive, but hey, that's just my take on Christopher Nolan and his movies. Don't let it put you off giving it a go.
Whereas I think the music is spot on, absolutely brilliant, and it just goes to show we're all different, and thank goodness for that, because life would be, well, the whole world would be rather boring if it wasn't, would it? If we weren't all different. And we had a look at what do they call these active 3Ds? What are they called?
Yeah,
you
that'll
put
do.
The glasses on, yeah, you know, the ones with the flickering glasses that were first introduced in the 1920s, and now we've got the electronic version, whereas back then it was shutters going round, but probably the same effect, if not better. But Dredd, this was one I was recommended, and I thought, oh yeah, after the Stallone version, which I thought was all right, but I'd never wanted to see again. So I really can't face a modern version of that. But it's 3D. I thought, oh no, I don't like 3D. Well, I like it as a novelty, so occasionally, but what a revelation this one was. And I don't think you like the actor too much playing Dredd, whereas...
No, Carl Urban to me is not Dredd. His voice was not deep enough as far as I'm concerned. But,
okay, we'll accept that then.
This was a title that I was given by Sony when I left the company. So I'm glad I didn't have to buy it. But I'm glad I have it as a 3D version in my collection. And when I finally get 3D glasses, I'll be able to sit and watch it as we did last night.
Well, I did have to buy this one, but it was CEX and it was £3. So I thought, well, that's not staying on the shelf. So I've had a look at it. Thank you to everyone who recommended it. I think this is absolutely great. And I like the claustrophobic nature, even though it's a massive tower block it's in. You get that sort of Nostromo alien impression that they're all trapped in there. There's no way out. And I like that confined aspect to it. The soundtrack is among the best you'll hear. At least it is in here. I don't know what it's... You know,
it was pretty thumpy.
I think it's going to sound good on just about anything. And if you've got 3D, might even work in 2D. But Trevor tells me this is a genuine 3D film. And so that is why, or 3D movie, that is why it looks as good as it does. So you really do go into this deeper world with this. And it's the sort of thing that can get you back into 3D, which is something I was out of for the last 20 years or so.
Yeah, I think one of the bonus items talks about the development of the cameras and the process they used for some of the slow-mo shots. That's why there's lots of little fine dots in the image. It's not film grain, I don't think, but it's just the frame rate that they are shooting at caused these artifacts. But there's nothing wrong with it. That's just inherent in the film. And actually, I think when I get to watch it again, I think I will enjoy it a lot more than the first time I viewed it.
I could tell he was enjoying it in here yesterday. But the other one we watched, which was a film, or a movie, I should say, because I believe it was all shot on video again, if not in a computer motion capture. He didn't want to see this one. But as we got him a copy, he didn't actually have much choice. Now, I got a second copy of this active 3D version of the Polar Express in a local charity shop in there, 3 for £1. The amount of times I've told them you're not charging enough, but anyway, they seem happy enough to sell them to me. So we had a look at a couple of parts of the Polar Express just for, well, Trevor's benefit, because Katie, your wife, wanted to see it, and so there you are. He's got no choice now.
Yeah, my wife is eager to see this film. All the clips I've seen generally have been on YouTube, and it just looked awful. But
in isolation, they would.
I can safely say that watching the clips we watched last night, I'm actually really impressed with how it looks. So I think I shall enjoy watching it.
Now, I've got the 4K of that. It's a beautiful 4K, but it's one of those that once you've seen the 3D, you'll never watch the 4K again. I can't tell you what the difference is, apart from the 3D I haven't compared. It's just that depth you get to the image that this was actually made for, and it's just one of those great Christmas films that everyone should have in their collection in some form. So I think that more or less brings us to the end of our little roundup of what we've been up to here. The last thing to say is, after hours, we had a look at the Blu-ray afterwards. And even though the Blu-ray in isolation, if you hadn't seen the 4K, you'd think, oh, that's very good. I think we both looked at that and thought, what a load of crap. So that's probably taking things a bit far, but that was the impression it got, and it was the overly rich colour that was coming through with fake colours.
Although the colours pop on the Blu-ray, they kind of pop too much. They're a little too vivid. It takes away the lifelike, the real-life feel to it that the 4K has. I was really impressed with how nice the 4K looked.
Right, well, I'm going to have to emphasise the fact that the word pop is banned from this channel. I know what people mean, the colours pop off the screen, but they do jump off the screen on occasion, but that's just a little joke I've had with the word pop with people over the 3 years or so I've been doing this. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end. No, it doesn't actually. Trevor used to work in the disc production industry. He was a quality checker, and I can tell you from having had him sat in here and picking things up immediately they came on, he was very good at it and still is. So if you don't subscribe to Trevor at Double Bill Movies, I'll put a link in the description below and you can get over there. So that finally brings us to the end. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and perhaps consider subscribing so I'm encouraged to carry on creating content like this, and maybe Trevor will too now. So until the next video, from me and from him, it's...
Take it easy.
And bye-bye for now.